There was an injury scare on last night's Smackdown, a new title match has been added to Backlash, and TNA Wrestling have banned blood. Stay tuned for all the deets. So, last night we had a match between Fraxium and Pretty Deadly on Smackdown. It didn't quite sort of go to plan by the looks of things, all things taken into account. There was an injury scare in the match, Nathan Fraser hitting a standing shooting star press that appeared to hit Elton Prince directly in the face. This caused him to be busted open. He was bleeding from the mouth. He looked like he was a little bit disoriented by it. Fraser would then go for the pinfall straight after, but Prince failed to kick out, and the referee stopped the count before 3.
She did the 1, 2, and then fell through.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
Commentary is sort of saying like, oh, that was so close on that one. The crowd was sort of turning on it really quickly. But as you see Elton Prince sort of turn toward the camera, it's starting to bleed quite heavily from the mouth. It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, he looked very disorientated. He looked like he had been hit full force in the face by a man called Nathan Fraser that had fallen on his face, which is exactly what had happened. I'm not surprised it caused him a little bit of disorientation, a little bit of confusion in that moment. And I think the fact that the camera angle for the pinfall, which you can see right there on the screen there, it did disguise it enough, like the fact that he failed to kick out. It was purely the live audience, and granted, the referee missing the 3 count, it was like, okay, accidents happen. Things like this happens all the time in wrestling, and it wasn't the only one in this match. Yeah,
it felt like a bit of a bad night at the office here. Later in the match, Wilson hit Fraser with a powerbomb and then went for the pin. The referee counted to 3 this time, despite Fraser kicking out, and then the bell rings. The ref has to wave the bell off and then allow the match to continue. Eventually, Fraxium did secure the win as Fraser pinned Wilson while Prince was being attended to by medical staff on the outside. But WWE have yet to give any update. Hopefully, it was just a very small thing. Hopefully, it's not like a major cut or anything like that. Like, it looked pretty bad. It looked it's a lot of blood almost immediately.
Yeah, for being busted open the hard way, there was blood. There was the scare of possibly a concussion because of how phased he maybe looked at that moment.
Any injury to the head, like any sort of direct strike to the head like that's got to be taken very seriously.
I'm sure we will find out more soon about that injury. Hopefully there is no injury. That's why we've said injury scare, because it very much is just right now. This was a scarier situation in a match between two teams that are normally
they just
smooth
gel,
as butter.
Smooth as butter, but
especially Fraxium being on that main roster. Hopefully Elton Prince will get better very soon.
Fingers crossed next week we'll just see him in some sort of face protector, and we can just spin this into some nice story.
Make it a storyline where yes boys, and have the face mask like Cody Rhodes back in the day.
Oh, man.
Undashing Elton Prince.
Golden era.
Oh, he's undashing Prince. Prince not charming.
Well, it's not all that happened on SmackDown last night. We also got a massive match confirmed for Backlash, which is just creeping up.
Yeah,
Time is moving ever further forward.
It is literally a week today is Backlash. It feels like we've just finished WrestleMania. The pay-per-views every 3 weeks are throwing my timeline all out of whack. But it was announced on last night's SmackDown that Jacob Fatu will defend his United States Championship against Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. We've got a big fatal 4-way match.
Big beefy boy fatal 4-way.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Like,
they're all going to just maximize it. You can just tell.
Each one of them deserves to be on that pay-per-view and be on, or premium live event on the spot, get that spotlight. And it's strange because we've said many, many times before that the SmackDown mid-card felt weak for such a long time. It was like, here's all your upper talent, and then the mid-card is very minimal. Whereas now, these are challenging for a mid-card title belt, and you've got all of them in there, and it feels like any one of them is a main event caliber talent. Like, this is a main event level match.
It's the aura of Jacob Fatu. The second he came in, it was like, oh my God, he's going to fix all of these mid-card woes. And then eventually when he breaks away, gets the title, and now it's just a case of banger after banger after banger. It's going to be absolute carnage. I can't wait. And I'm hoping that, do you think he's going to stack and pack him? He's not going to lose it this
He's not
early.
going to lose, but having the fatal 4-way stipulation does allow allow that question where everyone is going, well, Fatu's not going to lose the belt anytime soon, but a fatal 4-way, he doesn't need to be pinned to lose that belt.
He doesn't, but if he just rips all of their arms off,
they can't
then
win.
they can't win.
They can't win.
So I think that's what's going to probably happen. But Carryan Cross recently revealed in his documentary that he suffered a ruptured eardrum during his match with AJ Styles ahead of WrestleMania. He detailed this injury, saying that he went to the doctor to get checked out, and an hour into getting his eardrum repaired, he passed out, lost color, and broke out into a full body sweat. Now, he was able to get the eardrum repaired for his match with JR Kratos at Bloodsport.
Yeah.
But Have
you ever had an ear injury?
I've had a perforated eardrum before.
How's that?
It throws you off balance massively because your ears are all to do with your balance, right?
Yeah.
So it throws you off balance massively, and the entire time all you can hear is just psh, like from one ear.
Not a fan of that.
It's just like, and anything that does, like, if somebody's talking at a normal level, it's like you're sat right next to a blown out speaker, just going.
Ouch. So a torn one could be really, really bad.
Really, really bad.
Glad he's been able to get it repaired. Obviously, we've talked about Carrying Cross before in the sense that he is getting a bit of a resurgence at the moment. He's getting a bit of a push.
It's nice. It's so good.
It is cool to see, and it's really nice to see that this injury hasn't derailed that.
Yeah.
He's been able to get it fixed in time for the match with JR Kratos at Bloodsport. Obviously, him winning that match. Hopefully, this is the only injury he has to deal with anytime soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because as you said, we're getting this sort of, the chains are off on Cross.
Yeah.
It's kind of do or die. Like, he's always said he can do a lot more. I figure like he's always been a talent that everybody knows can do a lot more than maybe he was presented with. So now's the time. Now's the time to show it, and hopefully it really just continues to keep going strength to strength. We also got a #1 contenders match added to next week's SmackDown with Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax going up against each other. The winner earning a future shot at Tiffany Stratton's WWE Women's Championship.
I feel like this is going to be a funny finish because... Right, Naomi is waiting in the wings, right, ready to strike. She wants that women's title. We saw on SmackDown
she's taken out Jade before. She can do it again.
Exactly.
Just drive a car down and then just straight into the car.
Straight in the car.
It'll be fine.
I feel like if out of those two, if anyone's going to win, Jade Cargill's getting that title shot.
Yeah.
But I think Naomi's going to get involved, and that'll eventually set up a fatal 4-way match for them. I don't see it being added to Backlash.
No.
The Backlash seems pretty full by Triple H standards.
Yeah, 4 matches, get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's even more packed because of that fatal 4-way for the US title being added. It's a larger show than we would normally see, but I don't see the women's title being added the night before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd like to see it.
You know, if it's a big enough, crazy enough situation, it could possibly be. It could be a main thread on next week's show. We don't know. I'm just hoping that Jade deadlifts Nia and looks like an absolute machine doing it.
Yeah.
But we've also got a return on next week's SmackDown, don't we, Fraser?
We do indeed. Boo, 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 boo. It's John Cena.
Don't
He's
call him
back.
Big Match John. Don't tell him you can't see him. He's going to ruin your favorite thing, everybody.
He is. He's going to ruin wrestling for everyone.
He'll be call a kid a horrible name in the front row.
He'll be on next week's show to do just that. Obviously, he's been absent this past week. He seems like the amount of dates he's got left, he'll be on like 2 shows per week plus a pay-per-view. So he'll be making his return. I imagine we'll get to see him and Randy Orton go face-to-face before their match the night after at Backlash. I don't see him having a match on TV.
No, I think, we're going to see him a couple of times a month. And I think that, I could see Cena doing matches on TV, but I just think this is,
He's just there. He's cutting a promo.
He's there to really do the hard sell.
Take another RKO, something like that.
Yeah. Try
and push the heel turn that has maybe started to slow down a bit and not feel as fresh as it could have been. Thank you, Dwayne. And I think John Cena being there next week is needed because it's not fair on just Randy Orton to build this match.
And it's one final time. But what if we see Carlito talking to Cena next week, and then we see footage of Randy Orton partying in a nightclub, and then Jesus pops up.
Jesus is back.
Oh no, what's Randy gonna do? But we are gonna close out this news video with. It's 2025, everybody.
Yeah,
it's 2025. So, we've got to sort of change our ways a little bit, and unfortunately, TNA Wrestling, Last Bastion, the bloodiest company of all time. TNA are banning blood. According to PW Insider, TNA officials have informed the locker room on Friday that excessive blood and blading are no longer allowed by the promotion. Despite this, apparently a match between Steve Macklin and Eric Young is expected to feature blood, as it was taped prior to this policy change coming into effect. With PW Insider also reporting that the decision was to protect the talent's health while also keeping existing and prospective partners in mind.
It makes total sense. TNA does actually have a history of some quite bloody matches.
Yeah.
There's some violence involved there. The match that we've got coming up, Eric Young, Steve Macklin, no spoilers on the results of that, but it does feature some blood. That was taped prior to this being the new thing that TNA is doing.
Yeah.
They do want to grow that company. There is a lot of push behind that company to try and get new ad partnerships. You can't be doing that when you've got a face of a crimson mask.
This is it. WWE sort of really hardlined that. We had that massive swerve into the PG era that went as far as JBL is poopy. So it wasn't just blood. They had lots of sponsorships. Wrestling has apparently been something for a long time until recently that struggled with sponsorships and it struggled with outside partner companies wanting to be involved with maybe promoting brands or selling products on wrestling TV. But it makes perfect sense. Now, I am a massive proponent of blood in wrestling.
Yeah.
I love it. I do, it makes me sadistic, I guess, but I think that at the right moment, a tiny dollop of blood is perfect.
It can help elevate a moment, certainly.
Yeah.
Like we saw that with Drew Punk. That was great use of it. And in TNA, it maybe does make it stand out a little bit more.
The greatest moment of Mania history, like Austin Brett. It's like that without the crimson mask is... But I'm the old man now.
Yeah.
I'm basically Jim Cornette going, bring back blood.
Get in your retirement home, Sam.
Just give me some big glasses, put me in a retirement home. Yeah.
Put out to pasture.
That's it. But yeah,
Like the blood in TNA.
It's not surprising. I think wrestling is going to sort of generally across the board start adapting to these things as more and more companies are wanting to get involved in the pro wrestling industry.
I am interested to see if this had any influence coming from WWE because of their partnership with TNA, whether they've thought, if our talent is going to be represented on TNA, we don't want to be associated with a more bloody product, and whether that is something that TNA has gone, hey, let's work together a bit more to be a bit more cohesive.
People to GCW though.
They did to a show called Bloodsport.
But I also sort of thought about that, and I figured in my head, the first thing that popped into my head was essentially two executives in a room, and one just going, now, do you want to make this? And he opens up a briefcase full of money. He's like, no more blood.
No more blood.
Just closes it. So I think that's basically, it's the future, isn't it? But if there is any more wrestling news, we may be back later on with a third video. But if not, enjoy your weekend. We've got plenty of content coming out on the channel over the weekend. So keep it here with us right here, youtube.com/Cultaholic. Bye.